So Drupal 6 and Drupal 7 are very different. Long story short. Okay. So now what we'll do, let us no, not this one. Okay. Now let's quickly take a look at the Drupal file system, so that when we get to anything say like modules or themes, okay, at that point we'll have a clear idea as to how do we handle them. So let's go to cd var dev cd Drupal 7. Okay. Okay. So the first and most important thing that we have to look at is, I mean, obviously would be the folders. Oh, one thing that I had asked was you all to go through the readme.txt file. Did you all get a chance to do that? Go through the readme, because readme gives you an idea as to what the configuration is, what the structure is, and so on. So if you all have already done that, bravo, because you all would have a lot of information already. Okay, but if you haven't, this piece would help you. Okay, so the first thing will be to take a look at the includes. Okay, or let's begin with index.php. Okay, because index.php in itself does the, I mean, obviously index.php gets the first call, right? Not any other thing. And if you all have any questions about how index.php works, we'll have to look at a file called .htaccess. Okay, so what .htaccess does is, .htaccess is the basic uh, what is it? Is the server level configuration file for Apache, which is specific to the application. I'll repeat, this might be a little confusing. .htaccess file is a hidden file to begin with, so that is why it has a dot, and it is going to be a server configuration file which is specific to the application. The reason we would have a an application level server config file is, any changes that we make to a server level server config file would require a server restart. Okay, but if it is made to an application, this configuration file will be parsed whenever the folder is loaded or whenever a new request comes in. Okay, so that way we wouldn't have to restart an application, a web server, I'm sorry. Okay, so the specific line that takes a request and pushes it to index.php is this line. Okay, it says directory index is index.php. If index.php does not exist, it has to be index.html. If index.html does not exist, then it has to be index.html. Okay, now what happens, what happens if index.php, if none of these files exist? Okay, at that point what will happen? So that will be an exercise for you all. And how would you all handle that? Come back and tell me either tomorrow or on Tuesday. Okay, go through the rest of the file. It is pretty, see, it it might look a little intimidating, but most of these are comments, so do not worry about comments. I mean, go through the comments, but don't get intimidated by the comments. Okay, look at it as a piece of code. That is the first thing that you'll have to do, and have a little patience, and then you'll understand everything. It's very, very simple. As an example here, okay, this part, now that we're here, all that they're doing in here is they're checking to see if mod underscore headers module is installed. Okay, this is a what is it, this is a Apache module. Okay, and to run a module, or uh, to enable a module, we have already seen that we would use mod no, it is a2en mod. Okay, so that is the command that we'll use. We have already seen that. Okay, it is a2en mod, just like a2en site. A2en site is to activate a site or activate a virtual host. A2en mod is to activate a module, an Apache module. Okay, so assuming that mod underscore headers is active, all that they are doing is they are putting in a few rewrite conditions. Okay, you need not mug this up. You just need an idea. This is normally done by a server admin. Okay, but if you have an idea, it is awesome. Okay, so the next thing that they are doing is, if these rewrite conditions match, they are giving a rewrite rule. All that they are saying is, if the file starts with, okay, because a caret, it has a caret. Okay, if it starts with anything and ends with .css, okay, then they are taking whatever is in here, okay, which would be $1, and then they are gzipping it. Okay, all that they are doing is to compress the css file. Same thing with this one, they are compressing the javascript file from a .js to a .js/.gzip, and again you need not do anything, the Apache thing does it. Okay, or the Apache server handles it. And then, now that we have changed, what is it, now that we have changed the extensions, we would have to send the correct content type back to the browser, so that the browser would ungzip it. Okay, so it will ungzip it and extract the what is it, css and javascript files. Okay, after that, once we are passing in the content type, there are other headers where we would say that the content encoding is gzip and other fancy stuff. Okay, this would only be done if yeah, if if the file either ends with, okay, dot java dot js gzip, or, so here you see a pipe, this is, or dot css dot gz at the end. Okay, if the files either end with css.gz or js.gz, that is when this header type is sent. Can anybody tell me why do we have this I don't know, I guess it's a backslash. Okay, so why do we have this backslash here? Anybody, why do we have this backslash? Why?
Are those like those HTML tags what we used to,
What HTML text?
like HTML and then slash HTML to finish the area of that HTML part?
No. Okay, by
Okay.
the way, so this is not HTML. Uh, just an FYI. It is, these are a bunch of Apache configurations. So do you all remember HTTP or yeah, httpd.conf file? So it is just like the http.conf file or Apache. Yeah, yeah. It's so let me quickly verify, because different OSs have different stuff. Yeah, http.conf file. Okay. No. So it should be conf.d. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's apache2.conf. Okay, so it is like the apache2.conf file. Okay, so all the configurations that are in here, see, if module, see, so it is just like that file. Okay, but it is just that a apache2.conf file is a server level configuration file, while .htaccess is an application level configuration file. But other than that, my basic question was, why do we need this backslash, or what is the purpose of this backslash? We discussed this during the regular expressions session that we had, and not just regular expressions, even in regular language, for text processing we would need this backslash for some reason.
I think it is mm, it represents. I think I know what it is, but I will tell you. Um, if there is a string before it, or
Guess, yeah. Not a string, but
uh,
I guess you all know it.
yeah, I know it actually. I have seen it before.
See, it is one of those gotchas. I'll help you all here. It is for escaping. Okay, we are escaping the dot. The reason for that is dot has a value in regular expressions. Okay, all that we are doing here is we are escaping the dot. That's it. Okay, so yeah, what I'd suggest is take some time, go through this file. If you all have a Drupal interview, don't wonder if people ask any questions around the .htaccess file. Okay, yeah, FYI. So the first thing that we had to see was index.php. Let's go back to index.php. So now you all understand why index.php is the landing page. Okay, so yeah, so once we go into the index.php file, they are very smartly, okay, they are setting a constant. Define is used to set a constant, right? They are setting the constant. What are they setting the constant to? Get cwd. Okay, what get cwd does is it gets the current working directory. Okay, and it sets the Drupal root to current working directory. Now what it is saying is, once we have that, we'll have to require the bootstrap.inc file. Okay, once we require, or like once we have access to this file, run this command. Okay, it's saying that run Drupal underscore bootstrap Drupal bootstrap underscore full command. Okay, or the function. Now now let's actually see what is the functionality of Drupal underscore bootstrap. Does anybody know what exactly, like, or what bootstrap could mean? Bootstrap, does that ring any bells?
Something regarding booting the system or something.
Exactly, so it is pretty much the startup. Okay, it is pretty much setting everything in place. Okay, so here, so this is the best part. So this is pretty much like the core. Okay, it's like the core of Drupal. For a Drupal application to start, run, and do whatever it has to do, it has to, I mean, this is pretty much like the basic thing that needs to run. Okay, in here, uh what do we have? Yeah, in here we have a version which is the current Drupal system version, and all kinds of fun stuff which they are setting, uh yeah, which they are setting them as constants. Okay, but what we are interested in is Drupal underscore bootstrap, and since it is copying everything, let's say, okay, so Drupal underscore bootstrap. Okay, awesome. Or we could even go one step further and say this. Okay, nice. So it is on line 2150. Okay, now in here, even before we take a look at the function, let's take a look at the comments. Okay, and this is how, as a developer, you are expected to write comments. Okay, so this is a very good thing that we are looking at an application. Okay, the application here says that this function ensures Drupal is bootstrapped to the specific phase. In order to bootstrap Drupal from another PHP script, you can use this code. Okay, you will technically never use it because index.php already does this part. Okay, because remember it says define Drupal root path to Drupal, and then require once Drupal root includes bootstrap.inc and so on. Okay, so this is already done for you. The next thing is to understand these stages. Okay, the first stage is to load bootstrap configuration. Okay, all it does is it initializes configuration. The second thing is it would check to see if any kind of caching is enabled. Okay, we'll get to caching in a little bit, but even before that, it is important to understand that there is a phase in which Drupal checks that if the request has already been cached or not. If it is cached at that point, it will get the data from the cache. If not, it would go through the next step. The third thing is Drupal underscore bootstrap underscore database, where it loads the database or the database layer of code. Okay, and these pretty much are common things. I'll let you all take a look at it. The last important one is the Drupal bootstrap full. Okay, what it does is it fully loads Drupal. Okay, validates and fixes input data. So this part, okay, is where it actually is looking at all the variables and all the inputs that are available and does what it has to do, okay, to clean the data or go to the next step. Okay, so now once we get into the function, what I would suggest is to probably open this up in a text editor, unless you are intimidated by the code. Okay, uh, and take a look at how Drupal loads the data. Okay, I mean, honestly speaking, it's kind of simple, but it can get a little too much if you're looking at it for the first time. Okay, so the first thing is it is actually declaring a few static variables. Okay, uh, okay, and it's actually saying that. So the first static variable is to store the final phase. The second one is to store the existing phase. Okay, and then all that it does is it would actually uh, see if it is a new phase. Okay, then for some reason it would actually say dollar final phase equal to phase. Okay, I don't know what exactly is the reason for that. Okay, now the next thing is it is looking to see if the phase is set. Okay, and then it has a while loop where it says that dollar phases exist and the phase is greater than stored phase and final phase is greater than the stored phase. Okay, so what it pretty much is doing here is it is just understanding what is the current phase and if a phase has been loaded multiple, so it is just avoiding loading the same phase multiple times, long story short. Okay, I mean, for you all to understand this part, you all have to put in some breakpoints, or not breakpoints, but you'll have to put in some die and exit in here to understand the bootstrap process. Okay, the next and probably the most important thing is where it actually loads the data or loads the actual application. Okay, and in the index.php file, all we are doing is we are passing in this case. Okay, okay, it is taking the current phase, okay, from the as an argument. Okay, and all it does is when it hits this case, okay, it says Drupal underscore root. It is including another file called common.inc, and from there it is running this function, which is Drupal underscore bootstrap underscore full. Now let's take a quick look at common.inc. Okay, and we are looking for Drupal bootstrap full. Yeah, nice. Okay, so this is going to be another kind of big of a function. Okay, because this is pretty much loading a lot of files. Okay, um, and what I would suggest is rather than me explaining it and confusing you all, I'd let you all take a look at it. Okay, but long story short, what it is doing is it is getting a bunch of files. Okay, and then it is checking. Okay, what kind of a text processing do we have? Is it Unicode? Is it ASCII or what? And then it is taking a look at other basic configurations that PHP allows. After that, it is loading all the modules. Okay, which we'll get to in like a bit, and then it is making sure. I don't know what Drupal underscore test info is. I'll look at it. But other than that, yeah, it is just setting everything up, loading all the modules, and it is also looking to see if the current Drupal installation is in a maintenance mode or if it's not. Okay, because if it is in a maintenance mode, at that point we technically shouldn't run any data. At that point the site is pretty much down for maintenance, so we shouldn't mess with anything. Okay, so all this is all that it's doing. Okay, and once you get into these files, say like Drupal path initialize or Drupal theme initialize, at that point you'll actually get a lot more information. Okay, the quick way to look for a function in Drupal or for any big application, this would help you a lot, is to just search for it. Drupal path initialize. Going by the name of it, I guess it will be in path.inc file. Okay, yeah, it is in path.inc file. Okay, so all you'll do is you'll just open up VI again, includes path.inc file 15. Okay, and this would give you the path. Okay, so until here we have looked at how what Drupal is, how does it run, why is index.php the main file, what happens in Bootstrap, and what happens when a full Bootstrap happens. Do you all have any questions, or did you all at least get where are we getting to with this one? Yes, no, all right, uh, good. Yeah, that okay.
Is somebody talking?
No, go ahead.
No, I think I know where you're going with it.
Okay, awesome. That is
Because
exactly
my background is pretty bad. That's the reason I'm not unmuting.
no problem. I understand. So yeah, long story short, the includes folder, okay, which is this folder, stores all the libraries. Okay, so bootstrap.inc, path.inc, and so on. All of these inc files are library files. Okay, so the way you should understand them are .inc is for include. Includes contains library files. Okay, so now in the common.inc file, we got a chance to take a look at loading all the modules. Okay, I guess it was module underscore load underscore all or something like that. Okay, now Drupal modules live in this directory called modules. Okay, so these are all the modules that already come with Drupal. Okay, we will look at how each module is built or what takes for each module to be built. Okay, at a later point. But one important thing to understand is this is where all the system modules or Drupal modules live. The other thing to take a look at or to keep in mind is this is not the folder where custom modules or contributed modules would live. Okay, what I mean by custom or contributed are any module that comes with a Drupal package is considered to be a built-in or uh, yeah, or a built like a built-in module. Okay, and they would live in modules. for any custom modules that you or your team would create would be a custom module, and any module that you download from Drupal.org is a contributed module. They will not live in the modules directory. Okay, keep that in mind. The next thing obviously is going to be themes. Okay, so let's look at themes. So these are the 5 themes that we have here. Again, these come built in with Drupal. For us to take a look at all the existing themes, we'll have to go to appearance. Okay, and we can take a look at all the available themes that we have. Okay, it's pretty simple. Now again, the same rule applies for themes too as modules. None of the custom themes will ever what is it will ever yeah, should ever be put into uh, the themes folder. Okay, only built-in theme should be in there. The third thing. Now let's look at miscellaneous. Okay, and let's see what do we have in here. So miscellaneous, what it does, like what it has at least, are a bunch of javascript javascript files, css files. Okay, javascript files, css files, and png files. Okay, that what is it that Drupal uses. Again, these are built in. Okay, so built in Drupal uses these files. Anything specific to themes, okay, will be inside the theme. So let's look at garland. Okay, so anything specific to a theme will live inside the uh, yeah, will live inside the themes directory. But anything specific, any script or any file or any image specific to uh, Drupal, okay, built like regular Drupal will be in this folder. Okay, so that's miscellaneous. Now we have a basic idea. So let's also look at scripts. I don't know what that is. So let's see. Okay, pretty simple. So any shell scripts that are required, okay, will be in this folder. Okay, fair enough. So this is a box, or this is a folder for all the regular scripts. Now let's actually see what does Drupal.shell have. Okay, so it's a shell script. Okay, now all it's looking to do is it is looking at the okay base name. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's not doing a lot of stuff. Uh, it's getting, or it's rather loading everything into dollar underscore server so that everything's available. Okay, it's just loading a PHP script. Okay, that is all it's doing. It's not even a technically, I mean, it's not a real shell script. All it does is it is loading everything into uh, okay a .sh file. But if you look at this here, it is going to run this as a PHP script. So it's technically not a shell script. Okay, because if it is a shell script, it has to be uh, user, not user, slash bin slash local. Okay, right? Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Slash bin slash bash. Okay, in Ubuntu. So if you do which PHP, this is what you'll get, and this is the same thing that they were using. Okay, so then, so yeah, long story short, scripts folder is for any scripts that you want to run. The last thing that we'll have to look at, and which is the most important, is going to be the sites folder. Okay, sites folder is what we will use. Okay, the reason for that is any custom content, be it a subdomain, be it a theme, be it a module, either it is contributed or custom, okay, will be stored inside this folder. Okay, so that is why what we have here are a modules folder and a themes folder. Okay, any contributed module will go into the module folder. What we can do is take a look at um, what the readme says. It says place downloaded and custom modules that extend your site functionality beyond Drupal code in this directory to ensure clean separation from core modules. Okay, to facilitate safe self-contained code updates. Now that we're talking about code updates, okay, let's see how do we update Drupal. Okay, the way we would update Drupal, I mean the easiest way honestly is to exit here and then I believe it's update.php. Yeah, see, that's simple. Okay, all that we do, we just go to /update.php, we'll say continue. Okay, we'll say review updates, assuming that there are any updates. Okay, what we'll have to do is we'll have to select each update, click and then say next, just like a wizard. Okay, and if there are no updates, or like since there are no updates, we'll go back to administration pages to do our stuff. Okay, now we have a basic idea of where custom or contributed content has to go. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll install some contributed modules to begin with. Okay, again let's take a look at what the readme says for contributed content. Okay, it says it is safe to organize modules into subdirectories such as contrib for contributed modules and custom for custom modules. Note that if you move a module to a subdirectory after it has been enabled, you may need to clear Drupal cache. Okay, we'll discuss about Drupal cache at a little a little bit later, but the important thing is we'll have to create two folders here. Okay, the first one is going to be contrib, the second one is going to be custom. Okay, now let's go into contrib. Okay, awesome. So what we should do here is we will actually go back to, or we should go back to drupal.org, which is this guy here, and let's look for what is it, an admin toolbar. Okay, because the current admin toolbar is not very comfortable. Did you all like, I'm assuming that you all already have played with this, with the admin section, and you have a basic idea as to how this admin toolbar works. Okay, so this toolbar is going to be much better if I can find it. So normally Google is the best way of handling it. Administrator toolbar Drupal. Yeah, administration menu, exactly. I was looking for the wrong one. Yep. Okay. So here what we'll do is, yeah, I guess this is the only one that's required. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll copy this and wget paste. Again, what we'll have to do is we'll have to untar it. So for that we'll say -xbgf, yeah, admin menu. Okay, so now we have admin menu. One thing that we'll have to do again, obviously, is going to be to make sure has to be that web server has access to this one, right? So it has to be, sound minus www data we can say star because everything has to be under www data. Sweet. So now what we'll do is we'll go back here, we'll go back to our thing, go to modules, okay, and yeah, in here if you notice or if you see, this one is already available, okay, this one is already available. So this is the module that we had downloaded. Now we'll have to install it. We'll just say we'll do the checking part, okay, we'll check these check boxes, and then here we have something, here we have the new toolbar, okay, but one thing to verify is that there is something that's already that we can still see in the background, okay, that is the existing toolbar. So to uninstall it, we'll have to go to this section again, we'll have to find toolbar and we'll just have to uninstall it, and that pretty much get rid of the ugly looking toolbar. Now we have the easy admin menu which has been around, I believe, since Drupal 5. Okay, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, to appreciate the new admin menu's awesomeness, you'll have to hate the existing toolbar. Unless you hate the toolbar, you will not be able to appreciate the new admin menu. Okay, so now this is how we install a module, okay, manually. Now let's take a look at the let's install a module from the Drupal interface. Okay, so if you want to install a Drupal interface, no, from the from Drupal interface or install Drupal module from a Drupal interface, we'll go to the new admin menu, click on install new module, go to modules, install new module, okay, and then okay, and then what we'll have to do is we'll have to give a URL. So again we'll go back in here, we'll look for a module called views, okay. See man, this pretty much sucks. So what we'll do is we'll go back to Drupal, Google, we say Drupal 7 views, okay. So now we'll copy the link, oh, just copy the link, okay, go back here and just paste the link, that's it, okay. Now all we'll do is just install, click install, and now let's see if uh, Drupal was good enough to understand where to put the file at, okay. So we can already see, okay, we can already see that views is loaded here. Now let's go back to the file system though and see where did Drupal put that module at, okay. So now this is the headache, okay. If we create contrib and custom, the only headache is the Drupal doesn't understand or give us an option to put or like to put in the what is it or where to put in the files, okay. So now let's do a move views to contrib or cd contrib. So we have views in here, okay. So now one thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to remove the cache because we have modified the file location, right. So let's go back to readme just so we are clear. See, everything is in readme is pretty awesome, okay. So here yeah, here note that if you move a module to a subdirectory after it has been enabled, you may need to clear the Drupal cache so that it can be found, okay. Of course we did not enable it, but it is always a good practice to clear the cache whenever the location of the file has been changed, okay, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Okay, so now see the control, yeah, so now views is here, okay, but the good part is, I won't say the good part, I mean, but the awesome part about Drupal is Drupal keeps a track of if a module requires or has any dependencies. Okay, so the views module has a dependency for a module called ctools. Okay, ctools is, they for some reason call them chaos tools. So I'm pretty much not a Drupal evangelist, so I don't know why they call themselves chaos tools, but that is what they call themselves. Okay, so now what we'll have to do, long story short, is to install chaos tools first, and only then can we install or do we get to install views. So let's look for chaos tools, chows. Oh, by the way, do you all follow cricket? Anybody? Nobody. So let's unzip chaos tools. Awesome. Okay. So we'll do chown recursive data data. Again, if you all get enough of what is it of running this chown command every now and then, what you'll have to do is set up a trigger on this folder saying that whenever a new file is downloaded or any new command is run, okay, it has to be, I mean, the ownership of that file has to be given to a certain owner. Okay, that will be, you'll be able to accomplish that by using a shell script, and that's pretty awesome. So I'll let you all try that part out. But yeah, trust me, it's awesome because you're pretty much building a trigger on a folder, okay, which takes you to another level when compared to any other developer. So yeah, try that out. So here what we'll do is we'll just like do a refresh. Now chaos tools is available for us to install. So let's quickly install it so that we'll be able to install views. So statistics is okay, but it actually takes a lot of resources. So yeah, this is never installed, or this is not chaos tools but statistics and syslog. It is not advised to run them on a prod side because it can screw the performance up. Okay, so I guess these are the important ones: chaos tools and bulk export. I don't think even bulk export is required. Yeah. Mm, yeah, I guess this is good enough. Now let's go back to views. See, before we were not able to check these. The reason for that is chaos tools was not even available, but now that chaos tools is available, Drupal is smart enough to understand that assuming chaos tools will be installed, these also should be available for installation. So that's why it enables us to check the checkbox. Okay, so now let's say save configuration. Okay, if you go to a module here now, or if you want to take a look at all the available modules, okay, oh, it brings me back to this one, huh? Okay, so this is how we'll actually see that these are the all new modules that are available to take a look at here. So here, long story short, what we have done is we have installed a module which does not have any dependencies. We have also installed module a module which has some dependencies. Okay, we have also taken a look at how Drupal handles its file system when custom folders are created, like contribute custom. Okay, so they are pretty much they are the folders that are created by the user, so they are not built into Drupal, or they are not recognized by Drupal. So we have seen these three cases for enabling and installing modules. Do you all understand? Do you all get it till here? Are there any questions? No questions? Okay. So let me quickly ask you all, do you all want the session till 3 or 3:30 or 4, or do you all need like 1 hour time to practice or work with Drupal? So do you all want it at 3 or 4? Anybody? Are you all still there, or am I just talking by myself? Okay. So 3, 3:30, 4, or 3 to 4. Okay. So why are you all getting mic shy today? Anybody's mic shy? Why isn't anybody talking?
No, it's just my mom and my dad usually talk, so you probably gotta going to get a lot of disturbance. So I try to mute my part all the time, unless I need it.
Got it. So I'm not sure if Pooja's still around. So Munja, let's like take 1 or 2 minutes, okay, a break, or like 5 minute break, and let's get back at not let's take a 10 minute break. Let's get back at 2:20, and then we'll have another 40-minute session, and I'll let you all practice it. But again, Drupal is a very important concept, or like a very important topic. Many jobs out there are solely focused on Drupal. So make sure that you give as much time to Drupal as the amount of time that you give to PHP. Okay,
Okay.
so be back at 2:20. Okay, see you all at 2:20.
Yeah, that's fine. By the time I'll finish my installation.
Awesome, man. Yeah, go do it. And at the same time, if you can, again, see, module installation is pretty simple. Even complete the module installation. You have 8 minutes. Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Yeah. Try it out. Bye. Okay, you guys back. Okay, awesome. So what we've done until here was to work with a little bit of modules. Okay, so now the next thing that we'll have to do is let's look at a few themes and how themes are installed. Okay, theme corporate clean. Okay, so again, themes are the same thing. Okay, you will actually go over to what is it, Drupal.org, find a theme that you want. Okay, pick a what is it, pick a version of which one you would like, and then you'll go back in here, go back to themes. Again, you can either follow the convention where you create uh, what is it, contrib and custom folders. Okay, if you at some point will create a custom theme, which is very important. Okay, but make sure that all these themes that you download, okay, are in the right place, are in the contrib folder, and all the themes that you create are in the custom folder. And at the same time, make sure that the web server has access to those themes. Okay, and here we'll untar it. Now it's untarred. We'll go back 2 levels, and we'll do a chown, or we can do it even from here. We'll say chown recursive www data on star. Awesome. Now we'll go back to our Drupal installation, go over to appearance, install new theme. Okay, or we'll say list. All that we'll have to do is we'll just have to enable this theme. Okay, the way you enable it is you just click this link. Okay, and now the theme is enabled, so we can actually pick it for uh, yeah, pick it to load this information. Now all we'll have to do is we'll say set default. Okay, now if you want to take a look at the changes, what we'll have to do is we'll have to go to home, and at this point see it's much cleaner, right? Okay, so we have this, what is it, kind of a fancy carousel here. Okay, and we get to put in images, or this could be a text. Okay, or this could be a text of this type where you have a 2 column layout. See, this one has a 1 column layout, this one has 2 columns. Okay, and this one again has 2 columns, but the image is here, is available on left side, while the 2 column layout that this one has is that the image is on the right hand side. Okay, so user experience pretty much comes in here. Okay, because readers read from left to right. If the image is very descriptive, you want the image to be on the left hand side. If the image is not so descriptive, okay, you want the image to be on the right side with the heading which is more descriptive, that will come on the left hand side. Okay, so it pretty much is a call that the designer or the user experience architect makes. Okay, uh, but yeah, by installing a theme you can do all this fancy stuff. Now we have installed the theme. It is very important for us, now that we have installed a module, we have also installed a theme, to understand what goes in here, how is the data stored. Okay, right, because as soon as we have changed the theme, not a lot has changed, but we are still able to view the data. Okay, So the next thing is going to be how is the data stored. Okay, to view or to look at how the data is stored, we'll have to go to MySQL root mysp admin Drupal 7. So that's the name of the database. Okay, now if I say show tables, I'm getting a bunch of these tables. Okay, but the important stuff that I'm interested in is, at least to begin with, is say the node. Okay, so let's say select star from node. What do we get here? The first thing that we can see is that the title is here, and then the type of the node is also stored. Okay, the type of the node is stored here, and then the title is stored here. Okay, the title is stored here. Now we also know the NID here is 1. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to look at, we have the node, what else do we need, or what do nodes have? Nodes have fields, right? So now let us look at all the tables, okay, that begin with field. um Wait, show tables like field. See, they should have showed up, right? Oh, you know what, I'm sorry. So we'll have to do this. Yeah, so see, field star would have worked in bash, okay, but this being SQL, we'll have to use percentile or percentage or percent symbol. Okay, now what we'll have to do is we are only interested in field data because we only want data, right? Now let's see if we've created any specific fields that we want to take a look at. Okay, let's go back to our content type, structure, content type, order, manage fields. Okay, so the content types that we have created are, or the fields that we have created are product, bid, yeah, product and bid. Okay, so the machine name is field product and field underscore bid. Now let's see if we have any tables, okay, that have bid in there. Okay, so there are two fields, okay, or two tables. One of them is field data, field bid, and then the second one is a revision table, okay, which is pretty much like an audit table to see what is going on in the revision. I mean, what is going on the bid table or on the bid field. At the same time, let's also see if we can pull out product. So again, there are two tables here: field data, field product, field revision, field product. Okay, let's see what do we have in here for our nodes. Let's say select star for now. Somebody joined or left. Okay, so now what we have here is this part where we would say field product value is 1. The second thing is the entity ID. Okay, the entity ID here is the node ID. Okay, the entity type is a node, and the bundle that comes from is the content type. I honestly am surprised that they did not keep it constant by giving them as node ID and giving this as a node type, but there might be some reason why they haven't done that. Okay, so now if we want to take a look at all the required information, all we'll do is we'll say select star from node n in join field data, field product. Okay, let's say fdfp on node dot I guess it's NID is equal to fdfp dot entity id. That worked. Awesome. So now all that we'll need here is, rather than doing a star, let's do, oops, let's do n dot nid, n dot title, right? And then fdfp dot bundle fpfd dot field product value. Okay, so it doesn't have field product value. It does. Oh, you know what? It's fdfp. The alias was wrong. Here, so so it's right. So the first node that we created was an article. The second node that we created was a basic page, and the third one, I mean third to fifth, we created three order bits, right? So the bundle is order, which is right. The title is, it is worth 150. Then we said it was worth 50. The third one was just 150. Okay, if we go back, the easy way is to look at this section. Okay, so we said it is worth 150, it is worth 100, and the last one was just 150. Okay, so it's pretty much right. And if we want, we can go in here to read more and see that 150 was the Nintendo. Okay, so we can go back here and we can say that yeah, 150 is Nintendo, and to verify, if it is 50, it is PS. So it is 50, it is PS. So the last one, Xbox, is going to be 100, right? So Xbox is 100. Okay, Xbox is 100. Okay, and so on. So long story short, it is very important that we understand that rather than storing data as content types, Drupal 7 stores data as uh, as basic nodes. Okay, and then it separates the data into fields. So each field in itself would be its own table. Okay, and there is a specific reason as to why they do that. Let's go ahead and create a new content type. Okay, okay, so or we could even go to article. Okay, let's say manage fields. Okay, here they are saying that add new field, or they are also saying we can even add an existing field. Okay, and field underscore bid or field underscore product, okay, is an option. Okay, so the only reason that they would keep it open, or they would say that have, let us have a table, okay, for each of these fields, okay, is because of us reusing the fields. Okay, so rather than creating a product field for every content type that we have, we are going to uh, reuse the same product field. Okay, but we would store data based on the entity type. Okay, so let me save it here so that we get more option idea. Let's say it's a required field. Let's say select a product, scroll down, let's say save settings. Okay, now if we go into create what is this article. Okay, if we go into select an article, create an article, see here we get to choose a product, but before we were not able to choose a product. So what we'll do is we'll say new article with a product. Okay, and here let's see what are the available tags. I don't think I have any existing tags. Okay, new article with a product. Okay, and let's select a product. Oh, you know what, let's not select a product. Okay, given that it's a required field, let's see how Drupal reacts. Let's say save. and we get an error, which is awesome, right? We wouldn't even have to write any specific validation. So Drupal does that for us. So what we'll do, we'll just select a product to avoid any error. Okay, and then we'll say save. Awesome. We also get a success message. Pretty awesome, right? If not, we'll have to write this part. But with the new theme, they're doing it for us. That's awesome again. So now let's go back to data and see how data is stored. Okay, I'll run the same query and let's see if we get a new content type. Here, the new content type is an article. Okay, we can even verify that on a node level. See, NID is 6. Okay, the node ID is 6 and the type is an article. And this article has data living in the product table. Okay, so this architecture keeps it open for us to reuse the fields among content types. Uh, does this part of data make sense? Yes, no, all right,
Yeah, it is.
awesome. Do you all have any questions at this point with how data is stored, or do you all at least get
Yeah,
what is the
basically
point?
we stored a content type in, we added a new content type in Drupal, so it's reflecting in the data here.
Okay, so yeah, so where
Is
this,
that it, or?
yeah, on a very superficial level, that is it, but it is
Yeah, I
important.
don't like to go, yeah,
Go deep. Okay, yeah,
right now, not right now, because it's like a little too much for me following all of this.
right, yeah. I mean, honestly, trust me, it is going to be a big dump of data or information. But again, how do you all, like, we cannot expect to learn everything worth 7 years in 1.5 2 months, right? So we'll have to try our best. Make sure that you all pick the catchy terms, if any, that I use, because these are the terms that will save you. Because unless you show off, people will not know that you are, or you do have a lot of experience. uh, yeah, so this is a basic introduction of Drupal 7 themes and modules. Okay, so what we did yesterday or in the last session was to create a new content type, add new content via that content type. The second thing, I'm sorry, that you have done is to modify an existing content type. Okay, and then use an existing field that is already available via a different content type. Tomorrow, what we will do, if and only if you're all clear until here, is to build a custom content type which is a little more complex. So the kind of the content type that I've built is, I will not even say it's simple. It's very simple. Okay, but when we go to a custom content type, which is real time, it will have a bunch of images, it will have a bunch of user references, it will have a bunch of XYZ. I'll not tell them now. Okay, but yeah, long story short, if you all understand till here, if you're all clear till here, by tomorrow we can go to the next step, which is to build a custom content type, which is a little complex. Now we have 20 more minutes, so my idea is to tell you all what is required, or like how a module is built on a very basic level. Unless you all have any questions, okay, or think that the information that I have given about Drupal today is too much, I'll stop the session here and I'll let you all work on it. I'll let you work on Drupal. If not, we have 20 more minutes and I can explain the folder architecture or the folder structure for Drupal. I'm sorry, for modules. So snap poll. Can we go over modules part again? Awesome, we can. What part? Because modules in itself is a big part. Do you have any specific question, or do you, is that generic? Custom and contrib. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, so let's begin from the basics. So in modules, what we did was to create a custom and a contrib folder or a directory, like I'll call it. The reason that we've created again is part of readme.txt. Okay, which are again, which is more of an accepted design principle on an architectural level that is provided by Drupal. Okay, what they say here is a custom module is when me or I as a developer will create a module. A contributed module is when a third party, okay, creates a module, and I think that that module is helpful to me. As an example, cd contrib. Okay, admin menu, C tools and views. Okay, these are third party modules. Third party modules. Okay, and these, yeah, see, these help us or help, yeah, or help me in some way. I'll not have to redo the same code again and again and put my module through a complex testing schedule, because these have already gone through that. So since they are contributed by somebody else, we'll put them into contrib folder or contrib directory. If we build any custom modules, which we will, obviously, that is the whole point of having Drupal, unless we are looking at Drupal as a blogging engine. Okay, if we pick Drupal as a what is it Drupal as an application, or to build an application, at that point what we'll have to do is we'll have to update it and modify it and personalize it in a way that it would solve all our requirements. Okay, at that point this custom directory is going to be full full of modules, at least at a minimum 10, and at a maximum, I don't know, I'll not give you a maximum, but yeah, there will be a lot of modules. Okay, yeah, so this is pretty much a basic intro of custom and contributor, like contrib folders. Do you have any specific question, Munjal, other than custom and contrib, or like in custom and contrib?
Yeah, so basically whatever we which is already available, we put in a contrib, and whatever we're gonna make it by ourselves, we'll create in a custom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so other than that, are there any other questions?
No.
Okay, so we have 15 minutes left, and it will be in a way as if we'll be rushing through the folder structure for modules. So what we'll do is we'll pick up modules tomorrow. Okay, and now I will let you all what is it? Continue your work with Drupal. And again, what you'll have to be good with by tomorrow is a Drupal installation, a custom content type, okay, and what else? What else? Drupal installation, custom content type, yeah, installing a custom theme. I mean, installing a contributed theme and installing a bunch of contributed modules. Okay, we have done all that. Okay, today. So what I expect you all to do is be ready with them by tomorrow. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So what I'll do at this point is I'll close the session now. Okay, unless there are any questions. It looks like Pooja's already left, so probably I'm not sure if she'll come back. Or what we can do is we can wait for like 5 or 10 minutes to see if she gets back. If she gets back, I can take any questions that she has. If not, I'll close the session. So feel free to either log out of the session or stay around for like 10-15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'll just wait. I mean, once you close the session, it'll be automatically closed by the time I'll just work on that.
Okay. Awesome. So let's probably wait for like 5 more minutes and see if she gets back.
Okay.
Ah, here she is.
My thing is dropping out and again coming back up. I don't know what's happening with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean sometimes GoToMeeting can be a prick.
Yeah, it never happens to me, but then it's dropping out and coming back up. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, Pooja, what I was telling Munjal was now, given that we have like around 10 or 12 minutes left, it'll be a little rush. It'll be a rush to for us to go over the folder structure for modules. Given that we'll at least have to cover 5 or 6 items in there. So I'll let you all work with Drupal today, and tomorrow we can go over the folder structures and other stuff if we are all done with 4 or 5 items. The 4 or 5 items would be installing Drupal, building a new content type, creating content, installing what is it? Installing new modules and installing new themes. So these will be the 5 things that we'll have to or you will have to get done by tomorrow, so that we can take a step forward. Because unless you all have a clear idea, it will be a little too much. I'll be honest here to go forward. That's the only headache with any application, say like Drupal or like a framework, an MVC framework. I mean, is that do you think it's possible by tomorrow if you can like get these 3 or 4 items done because you've already completed installation?
I will most definitely try.
Perfect. So before we leave, do you have any questions?
Can we take the questions part tomorrow?
Sure. One last thing. I remember you asking me if I'll have 15 minutes of time or like 15 minutes to go over some questions that
Yeah,
you have with your resume.
exactly.
Do
That
we do that
also, can we take it
today or
tomorrow?
tomorrow? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, all that I needed was one perfect one question that I had is that when you get documents from your BSAs or BAs, usually in web development, what kind of documents do you get? You get an interface specification. You get a requirement specification. What else do you get? Is my question.
Sure. uh, what I would say is it's seldom that we would get documents per se. Okay, we have gone ahead of storing data or requirements in documents, and we have moved into a project management phase where we load everything into a tool. Okay, we can probably discuss it tomorrow, but a short answer for that would be we would use a tool which is more like a workflow manager for tracking our development, which we call them which we call them as sprints. Say one tool is called Jira. Okay, another tool
Yeah,
called version 1. Okay, so
but
the
Jira we only used to use it for bug tracking. Do you even use it for requirement tracking?
yes. So again,
Hmm.
requirement tracking, it's of two types. Okay, do not look at requirement tracking as a project manager or a BA. Look at requirement gathering as a developer. Okay, the reason I
No,
say
no,
that
no. My
is
question is not on a developer perspective. What I am asking is what kind of documents do you get handovered before you start development?
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
When you say development, you're talking about a developer. Okay, a developer will not start until they have specific tasks. A lead, on the other hand, or a manager, okay, will need to create those tasks. Okay, if that is your question, they would need flow diagrams first thing. Okay, we can probably go over this tomorrow, but
Okay.
yeah, these are flow. There are flow diagrams. There are what is it? Database architecture diagrams and all this fancy stuff that they will
Okay.
build. Okay,
Okay.
for a project manager, they would need what is it? I mean, depending on the company, you will begin with an SLA if it's a small feature. Then you'll
Mhm.
also have what is it? Say like a request for proposal documents and BRDs. Okay, FRDs.
Yeah,
BRD as in a
functional.
business requirement document, functional
Yeah,
requirement documents.
interface specification. Do you have interface specification as well?
That pretty much is that. So again, so let's define what an interface specification would be. What is it?
It basically defines your interfaces, like how much data, what your interfaces will accept, like your naming conventions, or how your interfaces act usually.
Sure. That normally is defined per team or normally per organization to keep it constant, and that would be done by an architect. So
No, actually, it is basically if you have a interface between two things. So exactly, if you have a nightly job that's running, if that job runs, and what are the specifications for the job to run? Which folder will it look in? What is the naming convention and all that? It is just an agreement between. It changes from project to project, right?
sure, but what I'm
So
saying is
that is
that
the.
is normally done by the architect. Normal developer seldom will have access to or like information about other projects information, because given that again it differs from company to company. Long story short, if the assumption is that the developer has to come up with that, at
No,
that
the
point that will
BSA will
come
come up with that.
the who.
Systems analyst will come up with the interface specification document usually.
Okay, so probably call it the system specification, because I've never seen an analyst who has programming knowledge. So if the analyst has programming knowledge, probably at that point they'll come up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because at least in my experience, what I've worked with are BAs who understand how to track a project, how to get the work done. Project managers are good at budgeting. They are good at scheduling. Okay, they're very good at people skills. They get the answers out. Okay, or they get the work done. So I've honestly never worked with an analyst with programming knowledge. So if there is an
Yeah,
analyst
that
with
is
programming
the reason
knowledge,
they're called systems analysts. So
okay,
yeah.
yeah. So if they are systems analyst and if they are supposed to do that work, then they'll do that work. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, sorry, but I'm just getting things clear out because I don't know how it works in the web development industry, right? So
oh, no problem. I mean, see, honestly, even I don't know everything. So what I can give you, or what I can tell you guys is what I know. And then again, in the meantime, it's pretty much thinking out loud, right? So we are
yeah.
thinking out loud, and sometimes I know a few things, I can answer a few things. Sometimes I cannot.
Yeah,
and sometimes
sure.
if you know the answers, if you share like you've just did, so I mean, say it'll be helpful for Munjal. I mean, since I've not worked with systems analyst, it'll be helpful for me, and so on. It's
Yeah.
just a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, usually the systems analyst is the one who writes about the database, where everything is stored and interface specifications at least.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. I mean, we can go over these questions tomorrow, and yeah. And I guess even Munjal will have his resume ready tomorrow. So we
Okay.
can probably spend around like 15 or 30 minutes reviewing all these things.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
All right
So,
then.
so I'll see you
Happy
all.
Diwali once again.
Happy Diwali to you all,
Though
and I'll
you're
see you all
checking out the fun out of Diwali
with.
with content management systems. It's
Ah,
fine.
that's sad. Once we get done with these content management systems, we'll have another type of Diwali. It's called design patterns. So,
The fun never ends around here, does it?
no, no,
There
no,
are
no.
lots of crackers coming in.
Huh?
Lots of crackers coming in. That's what Munjal
Oh, there are
said.
Exactly.
lots of crackers coming in.
Yeah, it'll always be fun.
Okay, Sai.
Okay. Enjoy your evening. See you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. Okay.
Bye.
Sure. Bye bye.